Dark magic. Dark magic. Now, this is truly, yeah, it is a spiritual message. It is. And yeah, dark magic, man. Yeah, man, this is a real matter. Dark magic. You gotta understand that this stuff is exactly how it sounds too, dark magic. And yeah, just this stuff is not a game, which you gotta understand, because dark magic is real. And it is, as I'm being led by the Spirit, it is dealing with witchcraft in a way too, and sorcery and all that stuff. But see, dark magic is it's something that is just dark, and it is of the enemy. And see, what you gotta understand about dark magic, yeah, all magic too, before I even get into this, is just, God's against. And as he's leading me to say too, see, he's leading me to say this too, because, he's truly leading me to say this and share this, and all glory to him. But what you gotta understand about magic overall is that even around, I want to say, the timeline of Moses and Pharaoh, you gotta understand that Moses was operating out of power from God. And see, Pharaoh, he had certain magicians who were trying to mimic Moses's miracles that he performed. I believe Moses turned his staff into a snake or something in that nature. And then, he called down the plagues to fall on Egypt and all this stuff. And it was all by God. The God of Israel was overall in the midst of this for sure, But, because Moses was, in the God of Israel is what you gotta understand. And yeah, he did many more miracles as well. We already know he departed the Red Sea and all that stuff too, and many more things too. But anyhow, overall, Pharaoh had these certain magicians around that time too. A lot of you may not know this, and others may somewhat bear witness with this just by the Spirit, because if you're spiritual, you're going to bear witness with just God's truth. Rather you know this or not, rather you look into it or not, it doesn't even matter about all that. God's people, will just bear witness with God's truth and God's Spirit, because his Spirit is a spirit of truth and all that deep stuff. But anyhow, yeah, Pharaoh, he has certain magicians trying to mimic and pretty much just copy what certain things that Moses was performing concerning miracles. And see, these magicians were no match for Moses, because you got to understand that Moses was not operating out of no magic and all that stuff. He was operating out of God's power. I want to say God's Spirit too, and all that stuff. But see, Pharaoh had magicians too, these I want to say these I want to just say these low rank magicians, but it doesn't even matter the rank either. But I'm just saying he had these magicians that were basically, he was trying to, pretty much used to mimic the miracles that Moses performed. And he was also just going against the God of Israel too, because you got to understand that Moses was sent to Pharaoh to, tell God's people. He was sent to Pharaoh to tell, just God's people and just Pharaoh to let God's people go, pretty much, And he wasn't trying to do that and all that stuff. You certain people should already know this, and you others, outside of this and all that stuff. But anyhow, Pharaoh, his heart was hardened intentionally by God, because, this stuff was already designed by God. That's what you gotta understand. But anyhow, Pharaoh, he did have magicians, around this time too. They were trying to mimic what Moses was doing, certain things that Moses performed as miracles. Pharaoh had magicians, And this is deep too, because a lot of people don't even know this and all that stuff too, And I'm gonna be very real. I wasn't even as aware of this too, but see, as God has been dealing with me concerning, just doing stuff for Him, concerning his kingdom. He has shown me these things. And, yeah, I mean, there's more deeper stuff concerning it too. But yeah, I mean, overall though, yeah, I mean, he had magicians, Pharaoh, and they were trying to mimic these certain things that Moses was doing, but they were no match for God's power and God's spirit. And to see, as I'm being led by the spirit, yeah, getting into dark magic, getting back to that too. Yeah, I mean, dark magic overall is pretty much used to manipulate and kind of bring harm too, I want to say, upon people and all this stuff, Dark magic is exactly how it sounds, but it does get deeper and deeper. And it's like, once again, it is used to bring harm, manipulate, and it's also used in a subliminal way to almost really just come up against like white magic in a way too, if I'm being real, and all magic is just an abomination to God, though. That's what you gotta understand, because it's not of his spirit. That's how God feels. But I'm just being real, and I understand him concerning this stuff too, especially this dark magic stuff. I do, I'm against dark magic completely. Now the white magic, I've already been transparent about that stuff, and how I feel about that. But anyhow, yeah, I mean, dark magic is yeah, I mean, God is definitely, once again, against this stuff. I can already even just envision him on higher levels with this dark magic too, being real, because see, this stuff is not for like good at all. There is no good in dark magic whatsoever. It's used to bring harm and keep people, and it's pretty much dealing with spells too, but it's just dark spells to trap people and to manipulate people and to really just like, once again, just trap people and just bring people into snares and to, I want to say, their own demise and downfall. And overall, just it kind of deals with curses too, in a way too, keeping people cursed and just blocked off from healing too, to be, as I'm being led by the spirit, to be blocked off from healing, to be blocked off from blessings and all this stuff. And see, that's the thing about dark magic. It will be, it's more or less dealing with the enemy too. And dark magic, it's just one of those things you don't want to be a part of. You don't, but certain people will be and already are. And yeah, I mean, sorcerers are a part of dark magic, witches and all this stuff. And see, yeah, I mean, this stuff is just very deep because, dark magic is, I already know God is even sharing with me, even in the midst of this, that he takes this even more severely. Like, see, this is like, that dark magic is truly, truly not a game with God too, because this is coming upon individuals by these certain people who practice dark magic, and they're using it to just lure people into their downfall, and to just like, I want to say, demonic portals too, as he's sharing with me even now. And it just keeps people blinded and very much stripped of their power. And yeah, I mean, this dark magic is a relevant thing, and this shit is very real. This is not for you religious people. You people don't even know about this. You may have heard about it on the surface or even read about it, but you still don't believe. And that's why you people are done, you religious people. But anyhow, I mean, yeah, dark magic is real. And once again, it's just dealing with sorcery. It's dealing with the enemy too. And it's dealing with, it's just dealing with, once again, like spells, dark spells. And you can really say black magic too, but I just, say dark. I'm just saying dark magic in this scenario of things. But yeah, I mean, it's just dealing with like a lot of like sorcery and manipulation, more or less too. And this power, there's levels to this power too. And yeah, I mean, overall, it's just of the enemy's kingdom. So, I mean, God has taken dark magic even more serious too. All magic too, but especially dark, because they're already like coming against people and just on people's downfalls, which you gotta understand. And dark magic is severely of the enemy as well, you know, and they're very much more just, I want to say, intentional of like, capturing souls. And dark magic is just like, it's truly just stripping people of their prophecy that they're supposed to fulfill and all this stuff. That's what dark magic does too. And there is books concerning dark magic and all that stuff too. And with all that being said though, I'm getting closer to closing this out, but dark magic is real. And, or you could say black magic, whatever you want to say. It's really the same concept, but I just, in a scenario, just saying dark magic. And people who are a part of this, there's certain people who are just picked out to be a part of it, as I'm getting closer to closing this out. But, like I said, the people who God has interest in, do not be a part of this. I'm just being real, because you will be judged and they will be judged too. But the people who are a part of it, there's certain people who are just picked out by the enemy to be a part of this. You got to understand that light and darkness must go at it quite some time. And I mentioned this many, many times. Excuse me. But it's a real matter, and dark magic is real, and it will continue. And God, and once again, God is against all magic, and it is an abomination. So, very few will come out of it, and all the rest will just be partakers of it, because you got to realize that, these people love power, and they don't want God's power too. These certain people, they don't want to be a part of that. So you got to understand that about this stuff. You people be trying to reach everybody. I keep telling you that everybody's not a part of God's kingdom. And light and darkness would just go at it for quite some time. And that's just the way it is. That's what you got to understand. I already understand this, and, I accept it for what it is and all that stuff. But dark magic is a real thing. And you just will not be knowing about this stuff, because you can encounter dark magic on many occasions, just going to certain events and, you're part of all this stuff, festivals and all this funny stuff. Okay. Yeah, you people love that stuff. But see, you got to realize that dark magic be taking place at these particular places for sure. And what you got to understand is, once this magic comes upon you, it can overtake your soul. You're not covered by God, by the real Jesus. Your soul's not covered. All right. You're going to be manipulated, lured into even lust too. Before I get closer to closing this out, because God is leading me to share this, you're going to be lured into lust. You're going to be stripped of your power, and they're just going to be rejuvenated off of you. I'm being real. You certain people, I want to say you certain beings and souls, they're going to be rejuvenated off of you, and they're going to strip you of whatever God, wherever they see that God has given you concerning gifts, any power of anointings. They're just going to take that stuff. You people who don't know who you are in the spirit, they're going to take that stuff from you, at these particular environments too, these festivals, I want to say certain concerts and all this stuff related to that stuff. And many people, like I said before I close this out, I already know, many people may act like, what's wrong with going to these places? I'm not even going to get into it, because what I'm sharing with you should show you more or less of what's going to be taking place. Now, you don't got to believe in this and all that stuff, but I'm just telling you about the Spirit of God. I'm just being led by the Spirit. But this ain't for everybody. And once again, you people who practice dark magic and all that stuff, you will be with the enemy too. You people who don't repent as well, and the ones who are authorized just to be a part of it, you just will carry it out anyhow. But the ones who God has interest in bringing out of that, repent to the real Jesus and get away from that stuff, But this ain't for everybody. And with all that being said, though, dark magic.